Hey guys, welcome to Relic Fantasy Talks. In this episode, we will check what Ultimate Champions is serving us while we have an international break from Euroleague and Eurocup, while all the national teams are playing for qualification for Eurobasket 2025. I got some rewards from last virtual game week, which was based on Eurocup games, and this week we will have a virtual game week based on Euroleague teams. Same as last week, I look at the matchups that we have for this virtual game week and the points average of each team and how they match up against their opponent. What I learned from last game week, some teams that had an average which was bigger than their opponent's average by 4.7 or 5.1, we had two of these occasions, they were able to lose to their opponents. So therefore, this game week, I'm being way more conservative on my picks and only highlighting the teams that have more than 5 points per game averages. So for example, Real Madrid has more than 7 points average against a Monaco team. And same for Anadolu Efes, we also have more than 7 points average against Alba Berlin. So therefore, Real Madrid, Anadolu Efes, Maccabi Tel Aviv, and Barcelona are way more likely to win these matchups. So therefore, their players should receive 20% bonus, and their opponents shouldn't receive the bonus. So when we do calculations, we can count on that. But when it comes to teams like Virtus against Fenerbahce, even if Fenerbahce has a little bit better odds on winning and receiving the 20% bonus modifier, but we cannot be sure on that. So therefore, in my calculations, I didn't base it on that. It's more like if I take Fenerbahce, I know that there is a chance that they might get more points, but not that I calculated. But it's more like, okay, it's a kind of wild card. And if I pick Fenerbahce player, there is a chance that he can score a bit more than I projected. So all the other 5 matchups, it can go either way because, again, it's picked from random games from the last 26 games from this season of every team. So yeah, it's totally random. So it's a lot of luck factor. So it can go either way. So I only recommend to pick players that I marked green here from those clubs. So this is my spreadsheet that I made for this virtual game week. It is based on the performances of the last 26 rounds of this season in EuroLeague so far. I just calculated their performances and took out an average, and depending on how many DNPs they have and how many very low games, this is a projected average if we take 3 games. The formula for virtual games is a little bit more complicated than my calculation is, but for simplicity's sake, this is the best we can have so far. Also, as it is only for 1 game week, and then the values will change. Basically, I compare the projected score that the athlete can score in this virtual game week and their last 5 game average, which is the cap that costs us to put in our lineup. I calculated the projected average with modifier L minus G column, which is 129. So Campazzo is likely to score 125 points more than his cap. And Chengelia is likely to score 107 more because it's projected 197. And Miloš Teodosic is projected to score 170 as his cap is only 65. So therefore, he should outperform his cap by 105 on average. Also, definitely, if you pick players with more DNPs or very low performance games, like Davis, for example, has 5 of those, it's definitely more risky, maybe high risk, high reward type of situation. Especially with Abrinas when his cap is 0, but if you're lucky you could get 50 or more points from him. At the same time you might end up getting 0 points from him because he has 12 DNPs or very low games. The most common sense is to use all of your cap that you have, but also take as many players that will overperform the cap. So I picked these players that are marked here. So let's see how it looks on the lineup builder. Yeah, so this is it. So my team is Johannes Timan from Alba, Bonzi Colson from Maccabi Tel Aviv, Miloš Teodosic from Crvena Zvezda, Darius Thompson from FS Istanbul, Facundo Campazzo from Real Madrid, Josh Nebo from Maccabi Tel Aviv, Tornike Chengelia from Virtus Bologna, and Lorenzo Brown from Maccabi Tel Aviv. So if we quickly go back to the spreadsheet, for example, I picked Chengelia and Teodosic. As for example, for Timan, his team will likely lose the matchup against FS Istanbul, so he will not get the 20% modifier. But when it comes to Zvezda or Virtus, they have the chance to win actually and receive the modifier, and then their scores would increase here by 20%. So therefore, of course, it's good to take either teams in white or in green that either are likely to get the win modifier or have a chance to get the win modifier. But of course, Timan has very good stats, as his cap is only 84, but his projection is that he can overperform his cap by almost 100 points. so I used almost all of my cap, only 4 cap points left. I will go with this lineup, as I believe this lineup has the biggest chances for me to get most points. And of course, I don't have all the cards. I don't have some cards like Baldwin, Keenan Evans, for example. So yeah, even in common on any rarity. So I didn't calculate those cards that I don't have, but the ones that I had, I calculated so that I could build the best lineup. And of course, feel free to take advice and inspiration and to build your own lineup. After this virtual game week, next week we will already have a EuroLeague game week with real games and real EuroLeague fantasy on Ultimate Champions. So let's wait for that. But in the meantime, let's enjoy some fun based on virtual game week. I really appreciate what Ultimate Champions team is doing, and I hope you guys do too. And that's all. For more content on EuroLeague fantasy, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.